Oh, okay. If you don't want to see, you can bug out. You want.
Well, you can make so many different choices. There's 3 different characters we picked from.
Okay. Wait, did I start as...
Once more, darkness falls upon the city.
A moment. Oh yeah,
I
it is already start. Okay, go ahead, Tom.
Okay. You have these past few nights in a windowless room. You pry open the reinforced steel door. Look out the window to see, invariably, sky bereft of sunlight. And it hits you. Hunger. For a moment, you yourself wonder if there will ever come a night. It's just not there. And what you've learned thus far, you probably have as much chance of starting your heart with jumper cables. Lock the door behind you. Head over to Sophie's apartment. You'd promised to call on her. As well not keep the lady waiting. And hey, what else are you gonna do? Oh, Jess? Yeah, right. What'd you tell her? She even picked up at all. He'd probably use the opportunity to stick some more needles in you. Worse, persuade you to come back. Go back to work? Yeah, are we kidding? Excuse me. HR probably found a replacement the day after you went missing. Nobody there cares if you got kidnapped or turned into a creature of the night. These thoughts put you in a weird mood. A strange sensation to walk the crowded streets, same as you have so many times before, but feeling so disconnected. All these people, not one of them anymore. You're a vampire, kindred. You need to carve your own path in this strange new existence. One way or another, appropriately enough, you arrive at Sophie's building. Just as that thought crosses your mind. Quick word with the security guard and you're let into the elevator. Apparently, he is expecting you. Or she is. Knock and wait patiently. The footsteps on the other side grow closer. The door opens and Gregory, Sophie's driver, lets you in. Find the lady herself standing by the window, silhouetted against the city's midnight glow. She stares out, motionless, like a marble statue.
Is everything all right?
She doesn't react immediately. Seems to snap out of some meditative state. Looks at you. Strangely bleary eyes.
Yes, it is. How kind of you to ask. Tell me, when you look out at the city, when you see the lights, hear the hum, smell the rain on the pavement, what do you think about?
Gaze out. Lights and rain. Relentless honking below. Music blasting from a nearby window, echoing off the buildings. Someone should record an hour of this, throw it up on YouTube as an ambient piece. Other than that, though, business as usual. Sights, the sounds, smells. Know them all too well. Sophie watches you. You can tell she's disappointed. Somehow. She covers it up. Courteous smile.
Well, not everyone can appreciate the intricacies that the world offers. In fact, among kindred, my clan is somewhat notorious for finding innate meaning even in the mundane. You see, the blood that flows within me is that of Clan Toreador.
Toreador emerged. Okay.
There are 13 such bloodlines among us kindred, though that number has been contested in the past, and these nights it seems that nothing is certain anymore. The clans have gone by many epithets over the years, but the names used these nights have their roots in medieval times. The original Inquisition, if you can believe it. They use these to categorize us, describe our inherent differences. In time, we adopted them ourselves. Each clan has a uniqueness about it, inescapable, originating from an ancient progenitor, carried from sire to child. For the Toreador, the gift lies in a sensitivity of sorts. We are uniquely attuned to beauty and ugliness both. We can see either where most cannot. A blessing on most nights, occasionally a curse. The sheriff is of my clan as well, although you'd be hard-pressed to see him as such. Poor Kadir. Breaks my heart to see him in this state. Still, there's beauty to it as well. Nothing like a good fall from grace.
Try as she might to act playful, you can tell she genuinely cares. She lets her gaze wander for a brief moment. It's quick to regain her composure.
Then there are the Vintru, known for their pride and a proclivity to rule over others. The prince represents that clan, as is quite common in our society around the globe. Where the Blue Bloods think themselves rulers, the Brujah like to see themselves as preeminent revolutionaries. They call for universal rebellion while being slaves to their own temper. We don't discuss the rabble much anymore, not after they've largely broken off with the Camarilla. To think they were philosophers once, long ago. I hope to tell you more about some of the other bloodlines tonight.
You know what my clan is?
No, I can only guess it based on certain aspects of your behavior and taste. You'll need to come to your own conclusion and seek validation from your clanmates, if you require such a thing. As you will no doubt learn, some kindred fit these stereotypes more than others. The blood is hard to deny, though there are certainly those who try. But that is perhaps a subject for another time. I invited you here for a reason. There's something I wanted to speak to you about. It is customary in our society, especially among younger kindred, to organize into coteries. Sometimes these are called by the prince themselves, or mandated by a fledgling sire. In our case, you may treat it as more of a strong recommendation. I want you to seek out companions, not only because you need to learn more about our society, but also because it's useful. True friendships are rare among kindred, but having allies, even temporary ones, is something of a necessity these nights. We might be selfish creatures, but we are drawn to each other nonetheless.
So, tell me, are you part of a coterie? Any close allies?
I do have those that I trust enough to work with, yes. Not a coterie exactly, though I have joined several of those over the years. Not in over a century, though. You, however, you would do well to meet some of the city's younger kindred and see if you can find a connection. It's an essential experience for one so young.
She puts on a mysterious smile.
I spent some of my precious time last night asking around, pondering potential kindred for you to meet. Came up with a short list of contacts. I hope you'll appreciate the gesture. Forging a partnership with them might offer perspectives and viewpoints that I cannot provide. Lenses through which to view our kind. They're all members of the Camarilla, of course. More or less.
Alright then, let's hear it. Who's on the list?
Eager to learn about them, I see. Good, I'm glad. So, let us start with the Tremere. They are a powerful clan, disliked by many, but feared and respected by many more. They have been an important pillar of the Camarilla since the very beginning. They are blood sorcerers.
You look at Sophie with a hint of disbelief. Blood sorcerers. Pretty sure Mark from QA used to brag about having a level 70 blood sorcerer. Somehow, don't think he meant magical vampires. Sophie snickers.
Oh, child, don't be caught with that look on your face when you meet a warlock in person. They really are adept at using vitae, their own as well as others, to unique and potent effects. Since they are quite rigid in their hierarchy, the kindred I had in mind for you might need some persuading. His name is Agathon. From what I hear, he is quite the scholar, very ambitious, the child of a noted Tremere here in New York, Sturbridge. Spend enough time with Agathon, and I'm sure you'll run into her sooner or later.
So by getting to know this Agathon, I can get closer to someone higher up on the ladder?
Yes, though not immediately, I would imagine. Aisling finds herself in a somewhat precarious position, both in the city and her clan. Every move she makes is heavily scrutinized, thus she has learned to tread lightly. Anyway, if you wish to contact the young Tremere, I hear you can usually find them in a New Age bookstore out on Broadway. The Tremere have one of their workshops there. Gregory will give you the details. Now, this next recommendation comes with a bit of a caveat. As you recall me saying, most bloodlines have unique features that might not be obvious at first glance. Well, there is one clan whose members wear their curse on their sleeve. The Nosferatu.
What's with the goofy names? Guess they're really big on Blue Oyster Cult.
No wonder they make their havens in sewers, abandoned buildings, and such. Their appearance is hideous and obviously unnatural. Had they walked the streets like other kindred, the kind would have learned of our existence long ago.
Did she just shudder? Hard to tell with her usual complexion, but I could swear her skin suddenly took on a even more sickly color.
The one I have in mind isn't as big an eyesore as the worst of them, but he is no Adonis either. Still, he has some talents and connections that you might find useful. His name is D'Angelo, and he has an office, for lack of a better term, in the otherwise abandoned grain terminal in Red Hook, right next to one of those Swedish stores. The name escapes me. The ones with the awful furniture.
Sweetest furniture store? You mean IKEA?
Yes, that's it. My mind struggles to retain things that are aesthetically displeasing.
Yo, watch your mouth.
D'Angelo does odd jobs for Kadir, digging up dirt, locating kindred who would prefer to remain hidden. The kind of work the Nosferatu are best at. He's on a case right now. Something to do with kind murders, I think. After your initial brush with our dear sheriff, I think it would be wise to show some goodwill towards his agenda. Assisting D'Angelo with his investigation might be just the thing.
He takes a brief pause to look out the window again.
Now come the two more exotic proposals.
Exotic? As if the blood mage and the vampire detective were business as usual?
You may have heard about the Gangrel before. They are a wild clan, in touch with their beasts in a way others might not dare to attempt. They mostly keep out of big cities, but there are exceptions. Nominally, they haven't been a part of the Camarilla for over 2 decades, but the one kindred I would like you to meet has strong, shall we say, familial ties to the sect. Her name is Tamika. Her sire, Jezebel, was instrumental during the Battle of New York back in 1999, the very same battle that cemented the city as a Camarilla domain. Sadly, her achievements have gone largely unrecognized. Tamika and a number of her siblings still reside in the domain they were awarded after the battle, Prospect Park. Jezebel herself left the city some years ago, fed up with being underappreciated.
Siblings? Actual biological brothers and sisters?
No, not in the mortal sense. The Gangrels sometimes use the word brood to indicate child or begat by the same sire. Childer, I guess. As you can probably tell, they do take the whole animal motif quite far. I'm not sure how many of them there are, but they're rumored to be a tight-knit group. The Gangrel often act on instinct, so when you meet Tamika or her siblings, be careful not to slight them. They are easily provoked and can hold a grudge for a long time. I speak from experience. So, you see, seeking out Tamika could prove quite educational, if nothing else. And who knows, perhaps you'll find her temperament to be a welcome change of pace. But speaking of a change of pace, I have one last suggestion for you, though it's one I don't make lightly. The kindred who calls herself Hope. She's a Malkavian. They are a uniquely cursed clan. For centuries, we considered them mad, insane, unhinged. But those of us who spend enough time with them come to understand the truth. It is no sickness, but a unique perception of the world that has them appear to us as unstable, and that perception can prove to be very valuable. Having a Malkavian as your companion might be taxing on the nerves and a true test of patience at times, but their insight and intuition are unrivaled among kindred. As for Hope, specifically, she is said to be a recluse, but I have it on good authority that she can currently be found in an internet cafe, I believe it's called, in Lower Manhattan. Gregory has the address.
Where did you learn about her exactly?
One of my colleagues told me about her. He considers her uniquely talented and tapped into the current fads among kind. Not something I'm personally interested in, as I'm sure you know by now. I take his word for it, at any rate. Well, I believe that's all of them. I still have a few social calls to make tonight, so I'll leave you to it. Use tonight and tomorrow night to arrange some cordial visits of your own. I will send Gregory for you as soon as I have further need of your services. Oh, that reminds me. You'll need a car. Join us downstairs, won't you?
She smiles once more, turns to her driver. He helps her put on her coat. The three of you leave Sophie's apartment. Sophie points to one of the cars near the building as Gregory hands you the keys. It's a rather inconspicuous, compact car. Decent looking, if not luxurious ride.
Stay safe, Eric. This is your first night alone. Don't let it be your last.
As they drive away, you find yourself with more freedom than you've had for the past few nights. Blessing or burden? Time will tell. The list of addresses in hand. Consider your next move.
Sophie's mention of a vampire clan of blood sorcerers sparked your... Oh, Tom can do that.
Sophie's mention of a vampire clan of blood sorcerers sparked your attention. One of them, Agathon, could potentially be your introduction. Sophie suggested you meet Hope, reclusive member of the Malkovian clan. He supposedly holed up in an internet cafe in Lower Manhattan. String of recent violent killings, the Red Hook district of Brooklyn on edge. Sophie mentioned that the Kadir al-Asmai, a secret associate investigating the murders. Nosferatu Neonet, the name of D'Angelo. To help him out, he might be persuaded to form a lasting partnership. Sophie mentioned a gangrel neonet with the name of Tamika, who's made herself a haven in Prospect Park. Ferals aren't exactly a social bunch, even by kindred standards. If you can keep her from clawing your eyes out just long enough, she might be persuaded to join you. Go for the Nosferatu.
It's a tough choice. I kind of want some blood magic on my side.
You don't want the crazy internet cafe?
You mean Hope?
It was between.
Yes.
Need some magic on my side.
You arrive at the address given to you by Sophie. Small bookstore smack dab in the middle of Broadway, of all places. Really catches you off guard, though. The store's display. What you've heard about the Tremere. They are infamous for their ties to the occult and the mystical. And yet now, looking at the oddball collection of items in the display window, all feels borderline satirical. The books here cover everything from Ayurvedic practices and homeopathy, wellness and self-motivation. Vaguely amusing juxtapositions don't end there either. Notice a copy of Anton LaVey's Satanic Bible tucked behind a cheap smiling Buddha. Scientific journal on hematology sits next to a teen-oriented pamphlet on the blood-type personality theory. Number of religious and quasi-religious symbols, lockets, pins, and various emblazoned paraphernalia are haphazardly strewn across the display between the tomes. Before you even open the door, you can smell the burning incense, hear the corny, Far East-tinged music seeping through the crackling speaker mounted above the entrance. It's much more quaint than what you expected from what Sophie told you about the so-called warlocks. Doesn't look like they have much interest in impressing outsiders. Again, if there's anything you've learned these past few nights, it's that appearances can be deceiving. This time of night, the shop appears to be closed. Regardless, you ring the bell. Hear someone shuffling around inside. A brief moment later, the latch slides. The door is pushed open just a few inches. Tired-looking blonde in loose clothes appears in the crack. She seems confused. You just woke her up. She lets out a yawn, scratching her tattooed neck. Finally, she squints in your general direction. Pierced lip curves into an awkward smile.
I'm looking for a guy named Agathon. Is he around?
Girl gives you a suspicious look over. Opens the door. Takes a few steps back. You hear footsteps coming from behind a floral curtain covers the back door. Bespectacled, smart-looking woman emerges. Looks straight at you.
Natalie, go for it.
Come in and follow me. Just don't touch anything, please.
Follow her through the store. Inside, as expected, stuffy air smells of sandalwood, frankincense, and a dozen other aromas. Woman leads you behind the curtain, through the back door, into a rickety staircase. Flight of steps takes you up the second story. You instantly notice the change in decor as the tacky New Age bookstore gives way to something resembling a cross between a library and a workshop. The smell here is strong too, much more layered. Not sure what to make of it at first. With each whiff, becomes apparent. Blood. Aroma. Subtle at first, soon becomes overpowering. Takes you a moment to adapt and focus.
I don't think you know who you're speaking with, so an introduction is in order. My name is Aisling Sturbridge, and I am the High Regent of the Chantry of the Five Boroughs. You're Eric, correct? I have to say, you're lucky the ward outside the building is only there for notifications tonight. Otherwise, it would have been quite unpleasant. To answer your question, Agathon is here, but he's hard at work and I wouldn't want to disturb him. Am I to understand this is a social visit?
Wait, how do you know who I am?
Well, for one thing, knowing who's who in the city is one of my duties as High Regent. But more importantly, you've been on the mind of many a kindred since Langley took you in. It's quite a precedent, as I'm sure you know. A first under Prince Panhard, and for Sophie to be the one to do it. Curiouser and curiouser. Still, I'm sure you haven't come here to look for dirt on your sire. That would be unwise.
Sophie suggested I should meet Agathon. She said he's quite knowledgeable.
Did she now?
Aisling looks you up and down. Countenance seems unchanged. You can tell she's judging what you said.
That's new.
Suddenly, a man enters from a side room. Doesn't even look at you. Lost in his own thoughts.
Jordan.
I have it, Aisling. I think I know how to find it.
Catches himself as he notices you. His face turns sour.
A visitor.
Yes, we were just discussing you, in fact.
Is that so?
Yes, Sophie Langley recommended that I contact you about teaming up.
Teaming up?
He seems very confused by the notion.
What for?
I could use your knowledge. I'm new here and a scholar like yourself could teach me a lot, I imagine.
You're not wrong.
Turns to Aisling.
High Regent, may I ask your advice on this?
She looks you over, as if judging your worth. Takes her just long enough to make you feel uncomfortable.
Actually, my child, I would consider giving this one a chance to prove their worth.
Oh.
She addresses you.
I'm trying to understand why Langley took an interest in you, Eric, and I might have caught a glimpse of her reasoning. I think you may be of aid to Agathon and his current task. Why don't you start by giving our intern here a brief explanation of what it is you're after?
Agathon gives Aisling a hesitant look. The woman nods approvingly. Encouraged, turns towards you.
A member of our clan disappeared without a trace a handful of nights ago. While the High Regent investigates if any foul play was involved, I have been tasked with recovering her research notes. If there's anything left to recover, I may have an idea where to start looking, and I suppose this is where you come in. If you truly wish to help, I could use your assistance tonight. Right now, in fact. Given the time we've just wasted on idle chatter, I should leave immediately.
The research sounds pretty important. What's it about?
Single glance at Aisling is enough. You can tell you're not getting an answer. At least for now.
It's important to us, and that's all you need to know.
People aren't in the habit of making things simple. Facing layers upon layers of secrecy. You can only hope what lies beneath is the real deal.
I'm heading out. Are you coming or not?
Sure. I'll join you.
Very well.
Gives Aisling a slight bow.
High Regent, with your permission.
She nods.
Before you go, however, Eric, defer to Agathon. In all things, our clan values obedience above everything else. Prove you can follow, and this might turn into a mutually beneficial relationship. I will await his return and his report. Good luck, my child.
Agathon bows again, heads out, urging you to follow. High Regent watches as you leave. Inside, Agathon leads you to his car. Almost funny seeing him get behind the wheel. Somehow, you'd expect a more mystical means of transportation. Drive south, into the Lower East Side. Agathon seems lost in thought. Either that, he's a very careful driver. Either way, several minutes pass in silence.
So, High Regent's your sire? Did I get that right?
Yes.
Seems to be thinking of the right words before he decides to address you again.
Let me ask you something. Why me? There's likely a couple hundred of us kindred in New York, yet you seek me out specifically. Why?
For one, Sophie spoke highly of you. She gave me a short list of people to meet. You were on it.
I see.
Once more, grows silent. You're unsure whether to continue prying as your driver seems to disappear into his thoughts. Drive to Williamsburg and stop by a fancy-looking building.
We're here. There's a restaurant on the top floor. You wanted to help, so here's your chance. I need you to get us inside the VIP lobby. Once we're in, I need about a half an hour of focus and some space. It'll be up to you to keep attention away from the room. Can you do it?
Doesn't wait for an answer and points to the front door.
Go ahead. I'm right behind you.
Two of you take the elevator up to the restaurant. Door opens. You see that there are only a few guests left, sitting at their tables. An important-looking staff member approaches you.
Greg, go ahead.
Good evening. I'm very sorry, but the restaurant is closing for the night. I can make a reservation for next week, if you wish.
No, I think we can get in now. We're special clients, if you know what I mean.
I don't think I do. Apologies, but it's company policy. No exceptions. Would you like to make a reservation?
Hey, it's all good. We can come in. We'll be in the VIP lobby. It won't take long.
And blinks. A confused smile appears on his face.
Yes, of course. Not a problem. Please, come right in. Gangster.
You walk in, trying to look casual. Make your way towards the VIP lobby. You step inside, close the door behind you. It's a nice place. Very highbrow, lots of old, expensive-looking furniture and private rooms to discuss a sordid business one discusses. You're that rich. Companion looks at you, something akin to admiration, or at least it's how you choose to interpret the slight change in his usual somber facade.
Not bad. Not bad at all.
Inspects the room. It's unusually cold. Agathon soon discovers why. Looking behind the curtain, the window hangs open. Handle and lock look like they've been dissolved, as if with acid.
God damn it, Juno.
It's Juno.
How about I tell you some other time?
Takes a frantic look around the room.
This changes things. Keep an eye on the door. I'll need some time. Half an hour, or at least nobody disturbs me, understand?
He hastily pushes a couch, some potted plants out of the way, moves a bar stool, takes out a curved knife, cutting into his own arm, lets some of his blood drip onto the wooden floor. Pretty fucked up. His flesh oozes the deep red, thick vitae. In life, you have found its stomach churning. Right now, you feel weirdly turned on by the sight. Follows is more disturbing yet. With one hand, he sheaths the knife, seals the wound. The other, he smears the blood around him, muttering some weird chant. It sounds vaguely Latin. You're pretty sure it isn't. All more than a little disconcerting. He seems to know what he's doing. A few moments later, the circle starts glowing faintly. As thin wisps of smoke surround Agathon. He sits down in the middle, legs crossed, eyes closed. Minutes pass. Agathon's face twitches from time to time. His head turns every now and then, as if he was looking around or listening in on a conversation. Smoke grows thicker, forming a veil around the mage. Expected something more flashy. It's still a sight to behold. Wonder what the point of it is, but refrain from asking. Probably best to let Agathon do his thing. Close to 30 minutes. Left to your own devices. And suddenly, the door opens slightly. The manager leans into the room. Tense up for a second. He just gives you an awkward smile.
Anything you need?
Shoo him away before he can take a closer look at your companion. He retreats obediently. Minutes later, Agathon casually gets up off the floor, walks over to the sofa. Pushes his hand between the cracks in the upholstery and fishes something out. Then turns to you, nods.
We're done here. Let's go.
Make your way back to the elevator. Pressing the manager on your way gives you a slight, somewhat confused smile. Neither him nor any of his staff get in your way. Despite that, Elevator ride down feels tense. The two of you only relax once inside Agathon's car. Starts the engine, takes a right at the Continental Army Plaza, back onto the bridge. Just about to say something, he beats you to it.
That went better than I expected, all things considered.
Might have been a trick of the light. You're pretty sure just saw a smile.
I'm used to working alone, but what I'm dealing with right now, it might require some more assistance, and you seem capable enough.
So I'm guessing you found what you came for.
Sort of. Enough to continue the search, at any rate.
Seems to deplete his social battery for the night. Drive the rest of the way in silence. Doesn't take you long to reach the Warlock's hideout. Agathon waves at you absent-mindedly. Once again lost in his thoughts. Hopelessly so. One of these nights, you should probably take him up on his offer. Who knows? You gain his trust. Maybe you can actually break through his stoic facade and meet the man underneath. Notice something strange by the front door of your haven. The letter's been slipped under the door in a cream-colored, old-fashioned envelope. No name on it. You know it's meant for you. Opening the letter, it's clear it's been sent by someone incredibly old-fashioned, rich, a fan of classic stationery. No normal person sends letters like this. Note is short and terse, written in elegant, delicate handwriting. Cordially invited to a rendezvous at the Cathedral of St. John the Divine. Be waiting to make your acquaintance tomorrow night. From me, closer to God. There's no other information. Looks like you have a mysterious invitation for the following night. Haven't been to a church since you became a vampire. Kindred, as the euphemism goes. Had to focus on concrete, practical things like survival and feeding. Learn the essentials of the vampire experience. Don't really have a clear idea what it all means. Cathedral of St. John the Divine, the New York landmark. Inside once before when you were much younger. Marveled at its Gothic facade. Looking at it now from across the street, feels ominous. Prospect of an anonymous invitation to a secret meeting is a worrying one. The venue is well chosen. It's hard to imagine a violent attack in a place like this. The eyes everywhere. You enter the cathedral discreetly. Quickly learned this is an essential skill for a vampire. Move without anyone noticing you. Full force of the cathedral's architecture hits you. You walk between the pews. The architect meant to create a feeling of being small, the face of God's glory, Mission accomplished. Based on the note, assuming that whoever you're meeting is somewhere in the front, you step closer to the high altar. It feels as if something is dragging at your feet, as if the stone beneath you resisted your movement. Been a long time since you prayed. Wonder whether God listens to creatures like you. Fatalistically, take a step, another. Not sure if your God is present in this cathedral. Perhaps it doesn't matter. What you feel is real enough. There's an old man sitting in the front. See only the back of his head. Bowed down in silent prayer. Footsteps echo on the floor. He turns to look at you. You can't take your eyes off him. Tall, dignified, white hair balding, 2 strands escaping to the sides. Wearing glasses, simple clerical clothing. His eyes are warm, pale, kind, someone like you. Something is wrong. Feel heavy, as if a giant hand was pressing you down. Skin on your face, burning. Perhaps unconsciously, you expected something like this. Vampire walking into a cathedral. It's not the building or God making you feel like you're burning alive. It's the man. Priest.
Tom, you do this.
Welcome, my child. Priest's tone is kind. The rising panic inside, telling you that kindness is not for the likes of you. Only way to understand these painful feelings is to push forward, confront the priest. As you step closer to the priest, panic rises inside you. Emotions are hard to control. Fear, anger, pain, all trying to wrestle you in different directions. Way. May I help you? Are you okay? Priest talks to you. He would a lost vagrant who has chosen to enter the house of God.
How are you doing this?
I'm afraid I don't understand. Simply too much. Mutter something incoherent in reply. You don't sound like a vampire. Undead being made powerful by immortal blood. Just another sad, confused, lost soul. Turn around and stagger away, feeling like yourself once you're back on the street outside. You stand on the sidewalk, confused and scared. Enemies seem to be attacking you and follow you. Night air is wet with the smells of the city, same as every night.
Greg,
How did it fail?
Look at the man speaking to you. Well dressed, a little archaic. Dark-haired, handsome, like a character from an old movie. He smiles as if he knows something you don't. Glance around. People on the street don't appear to be in immediate danger.
Who the fuck are you?
Please calm down. I'm not your enemy. Let me introduce myself. My name is Benoit Segal. We share many things in common, even if you don't know me.
Benoit offers his hand to you. Benoit's handshake is firm and dry. Looks at you intently, as if trying to find something in your eyes.
Would you mind sitting with me for a moment?
Benoit points to a park bench nearby. Darkness because of a broken streetlight. Weary, decide to follow him. Only an enemy totally unconcerned with the masquerade would tack you here. Benoit sits down. You follow suit. For a moment, both contemplate the cathedral in silence.
I know how it feels. What you just felt. I've experienced it myself many times.
For a moment, consider how to respond. Clear Benoit sent the invitation to come here and orchestrated this little setup.
What's the point? Why'd you go to the trouble of getting me here?
We share a connection, you and I. I'll explain it later, but right now the important thing is that it's so much easier to show than to tell. I wanted you to meet Father Anthony, or see him, experience him. You wonder why it felt like that?
First I thought it was because I was in a church. Then I realized it came from him, a priest.
I think you're right. It does come from him. It's his faith that makes you feel like that. He's safe in his belief while you are one of the damned. You ever wonder what's the role of a vampire in God's creation?
You stop to think. Of course you've wondered what this is all about. Whether it's about God or nature, you don't really know what being a vampire means. It's the trouble with the masquerade. Human faced with a human problem can go online and find something that helps. You can't. Masquerade means that everything there is to know about your condition is secret, in a way, left relying on the unreliable opinions of people like Benoit. Suddenly, Benoit takes your hand and presses it against his chest. As he stares into your eyes, feel his heart stop.
My heart no longer beats, yet I move. I talk. Is that how God intended us to be?
Well, I don't believe in the supernatural. There's a natural explanation for all this. We just don't know it.
Maybe there is. I don't know either. I know that Father Anthony's faith is real. Sometimes I'm skeptical too. But in Father Anthony's presence, I know faith is real. I know it because it hurts so much. But perhaps you have questions about faith and our kind?
Perhaps we are divine, not damned.
And Benoit laughs. For the first time, the aura of bitterness enveloping him lifts.
You're clever. There are many religious cults among the kindred. Even more among the anarchs. Some of them do indeed believe we are divine. We die, we rise again, just like Jesus. Be careful with that kind of talk, though. You might not know it. There are always politics attached to every belief. Go into an Elysium. Declare your divinity. Everyone around will start making assumptions about you. Sometimes faith is best kept private, even among our kind. Just ask yourself. You met Father Anthony. Did you feel divine?
You have anything else? Or did I just come here just to talk about religion?
I know it's overwhelming. It was for me when I first met Father Anthony. I know there are others like him, whose faith shines like a beacon. Priests, old ladies, children. Anyone can have that conviction inside them.
This is too much. You expect me to go along with all this insanity?
Mm-hmm.
Benoit nods patiently.
Let's meet again in a few nights. Here, at the cathedral. We'll talk more after you've thought it through.
Leave Benoit sitting in the shadow of the cathedral, contemplating what lies within. It would be easier to ignore his words without the reality of what you experienced. Father Anthony was holy. You know it to be true. What does that mean? It's a quiet, moody internet cafe. Half of its space serves as a comfy coffee bar these days. Behind a glass wall, it still has a space dedicated to rows of PCs. In the street, you can notice tired adults in casual clothes typing away absent-mindedly. Some bored kids wasting the late evening hours on a colorful online game or two. Sophie's intel is to be believed. This is where Hope has set up her haven. One of the waiters is standing outside the building, gazing at the sky, a smartphone in one hand, a vape pen in the other. Approach the man and tell him.
I'm looking for Hope.
Releases a soft chuckle.
Go ahead, Duck.
Yeah. You and me both.
Man slowly takes a drag from his e-cig, sizing you up and down in the silence. After a long, awkward moment, you're ready to leave him be. He raises his voice again.
Right this way.
He heads back into the cafe. You follow his lead. You make your way through the space with the computers. No one averts their gaze from the spreadsheets, emails, Facebook profiles, or games of Fortnite. A common sight, and you wouldn't have paid much attention to a few weeks ago, but now it seems so unnervingly quaint. They still be spending their time like this if they were immortal. Waiter unlocks an unassuming door at the end of the room and lets you inside. Two swiftly make your way through a labyrinth of sterile, gray corridors, making confusing twists and turns. It's like you're traveling into a different world, crossing one invisible portal after another. Eventually, you reach your destination. A guide motions you to enter a dark room filled with a lone source of pale light. Computer screen in the distance, beckoning you to come closer. As you do, you hear the doors shutting behind you. Doors shutting behind your back, and a short chuckle echoing behind it. Is this the place? Nothing else to do but sit on a chair in front of your computer. Monitor displays a modern chat application. Cursor is blinking in the user nickname entry field in the middle of the cursor screen, obviously expecting you to input your handle. After a brief consideration, type in
YOLO swag 420.
to play it straight. Prove you have nothing to hide as a gesture of goodwill. After a few seconds, chat window opens, and messages start appearing on the screen in quick succession. Text, text, text.
Welcome to 4chan.
Chat goes silent. Everyone's seemingly waiting for you to say something before proceeding. This is a close-knit group. Better say something before they kick you out.
Looking for Hope. Is she here?
How'd they even get in here?
Who the fuck are you?
Oh boy, now you're in trouble, @Eric.
Dumbass.
What, through electronics?
Apparently.
Had enough of these trash-talking randoms. Time to teach them some respect. Blood fires up. The ancient power starts coursing through your veins. Fingers tapping the keyboard buttons on their own.
You people better stay quiet. You know what's good for you. You have no idea who you're messing with. You will obey me.
Chat goes silent once again. Then it explodes.
What am I looking at here?
Watch out, he started typing properly. You know he means business.
Appropriate response. Your powers don't work online. Figure. No, your cheeks would turn blood red right now. If they still could.
You want to die, asshole?
Die, die, die.
Neoliberal.
Sentenced to death for a shitty name their mom gave it to them. Tough shit.
Yeah, sorry to inform you, you're about to die. R.I.P., bitch.
You're getting your throat slit right here, right now.
Split second after you read the message, feel someone's arms tightening around your neck. Violent return to reality catches you off guard. A jolt of panic rushes through your brain, paralyzing you momentarily.
Nika.
Oh my goodness, this dialogue.
You've come to the wrong chat room, motherfucker.
A ridiculous whisper rings out next to your ear. Then the grip under your head gets even tighter. You start struggling. Even with your newfound supernatural strength, you're having trouble breaking out. This isn't a normal human you're dealing with.
Last words?
Sophie sent me here.
Langley?
Hand holding your chin shifts its position slightly.
Don't struggle, or I'll break your windpipe. Or my phone. Which would end even worse for you.
Sounds of a camera shudder and lights flashing. They just take some selfies with you?
Alright, that's enough fun. I'm letting you go. We can have a talk. Don't do anything stupid, Mr. Intruder. Pretty, please.
Mysterious assailant looses their grip on you and gently pushes you away. Quickly turn to take a good look at them.
Let me just finish this.
It's a pale blonde woman in her 20s, giving you slightly judgmental looks while rapidly tapping away at her phone screen. Just notice her outrageous outfit, seemingly thrown together from random thrift store finds. Then, take note of her tattoos. Sprawling tapestry of odd patterns and designs covering every visible part of her body. First glance, all seems aimless. It has a consistent sense of style upon closer inspection. Eyes focus on you for a second.
Gave you a scare, huh? Sorry, that's what you get for entering a lady's haven without her permission.
She's back to her phone. With her relatively small build, it's hard to believe you had trouble overpowering her physically. Then again, nothing is what it seems when it comes to the undead. Even compared to the vampires you've met so far, she comes off as an eccentric, curious presence. She shoots you another glance, noticing you're still cautious of her.
Calm yourself, man. I won't pull anything like this anymore. It was just feel stupid saying it out loud, a vibe check.
What?
Yeah, I got a glimpse of your vibe on the internet in a dangerous situation. I'd say I've got a pretty good idea about who you really are. I hope, by the way. If you're here, you're supposed to probably have heard of me. So I went ahead and skipped the pleasantries, but come to think of it, I might have skipped too many of those.
Yeah, she definitely fits the description you were given by Sophie.
I still can't believe you got a mad line. You actually tried to use your powers on people talking trash about you from who knows where. Jesus. But you know, I kinda respect that dedication. It's amusing. Anyway, don't worry about the chat. It was all game to us. No hard feelings, okay? I'll introduce you properly later.
On the monitor, chatter continues normally. Visit is like yesterday's news, no longer relevant to anything.
Oh, look! If we're going to talk about you, you should have something to say too. What are you going here?
About time, she asked. To self, she really loves the sound of her own voice.
I came to you because I need help.
Hope gives you a pitiful look.
So do I. Too bad I think therapy is a scam.
She gets too close for comfort to give you a closer look. After a few seconds, some kind of realization dawns on her face. She points her finger at you.
Wait. Shit! Are you the new Langley planting?
Word seems to get around fast.
Of course you are. It was obvious the second Langley got her hands on a new servant, she'd stop building a network. Your mission tells me that could really come in handy when, but Langley, it's a risky game. This kind of ambition attracts too much attention. Piss off! But then again, fucking Kara!
She seems to be having a spirited argument with herself. Only parts of it audible. Is it just you? Or do her facial expressions and body language change a bit between one sentence and the other? Before you make certain it's not just your eyes playing tricks on you, she focuses half of her attention back on you. The other half, of course, still obsessed with her smartphone.
Test. Listen, I'm not saying I'm not interested in cooperation, but before I make a decision, I need to make sure you sort of understand me, and I sort of understand you. And since I was planning to put on a show before you came here, I propose a little game.
Hope absent-mindedly spins her phone in her hand, considering how to put her thoughts into words. Then, she approaches a switch on the wall and flicks it. Neon lights flare up, illuminating the room. Take a look around. The room is certainly unique. Looks like a butcher's room, purposed to be a living space. The modern computer in front of you starkly contrasts the ominous industrial walls. At the back is an overwrought bed covered in velvet with meat hooks hanging above it. top of the bedsheets, you notice what seems to be pieces of elaborate S&M equipment and a camera. Wait a minute.
You want my help? Moderate my show.
Cam show. Your eyebrows twitch involuntarily. This is definitely not the kind of request you expected to hear tonight. He notices your confusion.
Take it or leave it, buddy. You just became a kindred, but you want to become my partner in crime? Show me you can handle yourself while watching my back in my everyday environment.
She's serious.
The show starts in 10 minutes. If you think yourself better than this, better walk out the door right now. I won't hold a grudge. I've got better things to do.
As if to prove it, she looks at something displayed on her phone and cracks a brief grin. The reply typed down with absurd speed. Tap, 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 tap.
9 minutes. It's now or never. Show moderator. Risk of violating a masquerade? Aye. Content warnings? Oh, yes. So, do you take the job?
Why the hell not?
Hope brightens up. Her smile looks surprisingly sincere.
Excellent. I promise you might find this interesting in more ways than one. All right. Give me a second.
She spends a minute setting up the computer you used before and urges you to sit down. Explanation of the moderator's functionalities is simple. Boils down to ignoring anyone who doesn't disrupt the chat, banning anyone who does, and kicking anyone who's causing minor trouble. 5 minutes later, she's already online, sitting on her bed in a provocative pose. It is a sex show, isn't it? Voice, previously hushed, rings out, full force.
How are you doing tonight? Hopefuls?
Peek at the chat.
Oh no.
Hell yeah! Time to fuck!
Yo, the ban button is ready?
This could be part of it. Maybe, yeah. Tempted to try out the kick and ban prompts as soon as possible. Obviously, you won't punish someone just for a little dirty talk.
Thank you. Today's show is quite special. Please welcome our new moderator, Eric.
Who?
At least the community here seems to be a bit more welcoming this time. Looks like this place has an established hazing ritual. Maybe they and Hope came up with one specifically for you. Who knows? Decide to stay silent. Eventually, people stop riffing on you and focus entirely on the star of the show.
All right, let's start this one with a bang, shall we?
Queen!
So, this is where the strip show starts. You raise your head, curious about what kind of performance she's going for. First, she opens her mouth and reveals her retractable fangs in front of the camera. And off the bat, the online audience is treated to a sight of her wholly human set of teeth, turning into a monster's maw. The image is both revolting and fascinating. She raises her left wrist for everyone to see, then bites. Fangs immediately turn her arm into a horrifying, gory mess. Unclear if she used them to slash or bite. One thing is for sure, no ordinary human would cause such damage. If an ordinary human suffered such a wound, you'd expect a geyser of blood to appear too. But it doesn't. Hope's technically a corpse, so it's impossible. Flashes a monstrous smile and starts smearing vitae all over her hand. Maximize the impact of the violent image. Then she starts drinking it up. Makes it a point to make the sight as gruesome as possible, looking like a hyena feasting on a corpse. Contrast of her behavior with her look of an Instagram model. Stunning. Once she's done, she reveals her wrist to the camera for the last time. She starts making theatrical gestures with her right hand as the wound begins to mend. Shortly after, the wound is gone. It's like a magician's trick. Left hand looks like nothing bad ever happened to it.
Here's an appetizer. First blood to kick off the show.
While you're wondering what the hell is going on, catches a glimpse of your bewildered face, turns into your direction.
How's that for an opening?
You're shooting snuff.
Come on. Just because it's transgressive violence doesn't mean it's snuff.
Brief moment in awkward silence.
Tights? If I was shooting snuff, I wouldn't mend a wound. You expected a strip show, yeah. Sorry to disappoint. This is more like live-streamed digital art. The erotic subtext is there, of course.
Peek at the chat. They're going wild.
For free!
I'd love to lick your chest clean, my fallen angel.
It's
Wrist.
But eroticism is not the key here. It's vampirism. It's a new frontier, a living art installation. In the early 90s, the Japanese artist kept producing these videotapes with beautiful women committing gory harakiri. Those are an inspiration.
She bares her fangs in a devious grin.
But, I have no interest in auto destruction or turning myself into a victim. This is a celebration of a body I love, not self-inflicted punishment. The audience came here to marvel at a beautiful vampire and her awe-inspiring powers. Mending wounds is just one of these powers. The people watching can pay to see more. Oh, and don't worry. The only things the audience can see and hear are the things I allow them to. We can talk freely. Just remember to moderate the chat, will you?
I risk of violating the masquerade. A choke. He's blatantly breaching it in front of anonymous viewers. Still speechless. Turn your attention to the screen.
Muy guapa. I'll pay for the next attraction. Thirst victim, just letting you know you're base, bro. I know.
I mean, it seems fine. Wait.
But here's the thing. Who am I kicking or ignoring?
Wait. Yeah, it doesn't specify.
Yeah, that's what I'm confused about.
Wait, go to the
Maybe
one...
if it isn't obvious, then
Go down to, what's Dick Steele? That's a negative one.
I feel like
I can't
He's
tell
not
if that's
being-
a compliment or not.
I don't. Well, I mean, considering there was blood and raspberry sauce can look like blood and flesh can be pink, like a pink marshmallow, I think he's just being descriptive of what he saw and trying to be poetic.
Yeah, we could probably... okay, yeah. Let you... I guess it was referring to one guy. Let the guy vent his excitement. Seems harmless. Special message appears on the chat log, claiming somebody has successfully sponsored the first goal of the show. Smiles and picks up a bag of blood from underneath the bed. Must have been retrieved from a blood bank. She showcases the label to the camera for everyone to see.
Drink up.
Drink up!
Hope pours all of the contents of the bag into her throat. I've no doubt it's real blood, but wonder why the viewers would be so satisfied with something that's so easy to fake.
Don't worry. It pays well enough.
Don't even bother to tell her this is not what you're thinking about. Safe to assume she knows.
So, what do you know about the kindred and the internet? Have they told you anything?
Well, she is waiting for someone to sponsor her next vampiric feed. She decides to start a conversation. Is this the right?
Is there a vampire internet?
If you find something that looks like vampire internet, stay away. See? Some of us used to experiment with our own secure networks. We tried to build our own information hubs, social networks, everything.
She's still working the phone in one hand while looking for something under the bed with the other. How many things can she concentrate on one time exactly.
Then one day, the NSA got in. Turned out, elders never really got a hang of proper security practices. Or the sigils they used to smear on their own screens didn't exactly work as advertised. Then, of course, all of the other three-lettered intelligence agency in the world got the intel. And a lot of them decided bloodsuckers were the perfect new enemies for post-9/11 times. The Second Inquisition came into being. Ever heard of it? A lot of our kind died just because they were too present online. Right now, the remains of our old Necros service government honeypots kept alive to attract fledglings and hunt them down. Oh, a lot of... You post certain keywords on Twitter or Facebook, you get tagged for investigation. You fit certain patterns, you get tagged for investigation. So, there's a certain thrill in becoming an online presence without attracting attention from the authorities.
Tom.
She stretches on the bed.
I hope you're still monitoring the chat.
Of course not. Not as good at dividing your attention as she is. Correct your mistake and check the recent messages.
Oh, you gotta scroll up for that Call of Duty one, man. Hold on, let me see here. This 2 monitor setup rules! Call of Duty on one screen, drop dead hotness on the second screen. Let's go!
Hope. More like my favorite hope.
Yeah, I don't know. This one's weirder. Like, I can't tell.
I would just ban that guy's username.
That one's straight up calling her a hoe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like ban. I mean.
I would
Oh, I
ban.
didn't notice the name. Holy shit.
Yeah, the name. Yeah, the nickname. Definitely.
I can't believe we're doing this.
Good job.
She's keeping close tabs on you.
Anyway, yeah. When Nosferatu admitted to Camarilla, their network got compromised. The elders went batshit insane. Internet communication became strictly forbidden. There were executions. A lot of people who use social media to secretly contact their mortal families and lovers got off. Ah, that goes without saying. But if you weren't careful, even the most innocent web usage could result in being punished with final death.
Thanks to user Dick Steele, next goal has just gotten successfully funded.
Let's go!
Dehumanize yourself and face the bloodshed!
She raises her hand. 3 fingers up, 2 fingers up, 1 finger up. On down ends, and she immediately disappears from the screen. Like a ghost. You can still see her on the bed. The live feed indicates there's nobody there. You deeply focus on the digital image. Swear you can make out some unusual glitching. Her silhouette should be. It could very well be just placebo.
You ready for this? 3, 2, 1.
Flash of the camera. Instant she reappears on the screen, she takes a selfie, sticking her tongue out in a provocative manner. Chat room explodes and cheers again. She is their vampire queen. Briefly wonder about her being glued to the screen. Is this the fantasy everyone is here for? Girl showing off cheap magic tricks while lazily browsing her social media? Damn, this narrator's mean. You realize you are way out of your depth here. Meanwhile, Hope decides to continue her lecture.
Those were some wild times, especially in New York. While most of them have no clue as to our real nature, a lot of clandestine organizations have classified as a national threats, and since this is where the towels fell, the agencies are very much present around here, looking for easy PR victories. The last SI raid were just a few years ago, and it was a big one. Stirred up the hornet's nest something fierce. But although it's 2019, New York City is ruled by someone who got embraced before the World War II. And the camp as a whole got really spooked and swore off the internet. Of course, they're not dumb and understand that you can't really coexist with modern kind without the internet. It's a gray zone right now. Piracy, technically frowned upon, but let the one without sin cast the first stone. The SI is a real threat, no joke, but in many senses, the darkest place is right under the candle.
Take another look at the screen.
What?
We want blood! It's been a long, hard day. Please give me a shout out.
Familiar nickname pops up. Well,
The last time he said that, he was expressing enjoyment. Like when I made the joke about him having a stroke, that was the same guy.
Yeah, that was the same guy.
No, we're gonna talk about someone having a username called Fuck Eric. I noticed that.
I typed it earlier.
It was really fun.
Yeah, shout out to Eric.
And, you give the guy a kick for spamming the chat. Message is deleted so fast, Hope might not have even noticed. Duty carried out well. Surprised to feel an inkling of pride.
I love this narrator right now.
Oh yeah, fun fact about being a vampire. We can sweat and pee if we just exert ourselves really hard. Some of us can even orgasm. We can even cry, but only tears of blood. It's something I always dreamed of doing when I was 14. So romantic. And it drives them crazy.
As proof of her words, scarlet tears starts running down her face. Chat goes wild. Seems to be exactly the kind of thing we've been waiting for.
Can you imagine USA assembling a blood-sucking squad that would just cruise by the border and suck blood out of any illegal they found? The very thought gives me the biggest boner.
Oh, what do we think, chat? We think
Biggest
ban?
boner. Let's think about this.
ban, fuck man.
Oh, mega ban.
And banned.
To be clear, you realize what we're doing here is a blatant breach of the masquerade, right? Honestly, expected you to leave or inform somebody by now, but you haven't, have you?
I try to focus on the chat. Familiar nickname is displayed on the screen. Yeah. Looks like Mr. Masochist needs a long break after you ban him. You hear Hope's voice.
Good job handling that guy.
Great. Nothing else works out. Seems you fit this job at the very least.
In any case,
Last goal has just been funded.
it's time for the great finale. This is what you've all been waiting for, right?
Yas, queen.
Yes!
Voice has changed. She gets closer to the camera, letting her face fill the frame of the live feed. Mesmerizing eyes, focused purely on the viewers.
You wanted blood? Come out into the streets. Claw out your neighbors' throats. Slash their veins and drink.
Yes, queen!
Yes, queen.
Hope's presence becomes absolutely horrifying. It influences the chat in some incomprehensible way. Everyone starts typing like they are possessed.
Liberate yourselves from the shackles of ordinary mortality. Make them scream. Feel the warmth of their entrails.
What the hell is she doing to those people? What have you gotten yourself into?
Transcend your bodies. Release the message of hope into the world.
She jerks violently for a second, then falls down on the bed like a marionette that just had its strings severed. Exhales loudly a few times. Laughs. When she does, the room goes dark again.
All right, that's enough.
Instead of continuing, she does something with her phone. Stream ends. The chat instantly becomes dead quiet.
Let me take over.
The atmosphere in the room has completely changed. She's already put herself together and stood up. Now she's walking towards you.
Vulgar. What the fuck just happened? It's Jerry 2010. Guess the show is over. Everyone relax and go home. At hostage, the executioner. Oh, and I was almost ready to come, brothers. At Cult of Luna. hostage. I swear on my father's grave. One day I will find you and kick the living shit out of you.
After every line she delivers, she changes her voice. The way she puts her lips together. Even with the way that she moves. Caught glimpses of her acting this way. Only now have you started to figure it out.
Wait a minute. Does that mean... Vika?
I was talking to nobody. At this point, Dulac, I'm immortal. I'm bored. I'm separated from the most vampires in the city by generational chasm. And I am so goddamn lonely. The internet used to be my only friend. At Infodom Delivery Service. Years ago, I started researching Topaz, collective unconsciousness. All the mumbo-jumbo at the intersection of psychology and spirituality. And I decided to experiment.
The show was fake.
At Honey Legend. A few years later, I was on Instagram, fashionista, a successful erotic model, a vital part of pop culture communitarism. A viral shitposter, a cryptocurrency expert. At Honey Legion, all of my internet selves started signal boosting each other, paving a way for new ones. I became a one-woman empire, surrounded by legions of psycho fans.
The chat was fake.
Me? Some may think of it dissociative identity disorder, but that's bullshit. Everyone has unlike alter egos they buried. I just resurrected them, gave birth to the new ones, and let them crossbreed.
Constant tapping at the phone, even during the show. Somehow, he is capable of impersonating an entire chat room.
It literally, perfect changes. I don't even have a self that could dissociate or be mentally ill. I'm honest, living database. It literally a refuge angel. Because I find it fun to be an information conduct, to process trends and support the ones I deem worthy.
There was no masquerade violation. She was showing off her skills all along. She put you into a world of pure fiction, same way she was testing you when she attacked you from the back. Damn, she's good at this.
At Mark David Chapman, of course, you can just ignore what I'm saying and decide I'm just another deranged Malkovian. But hey, annihilation of oneself is the only way to survive in the 21st century. An android of Notre Dame. If there ever has been an era that demanded images of beautiful people transcending beyond humanity and inspiring others to do the same, this is one. At my homemade, although for now, because of Masquerade, my audience is quite limited. Oh, speaking of, you want to be the star of my next movie? At Man Homemade, although but homemade. Need some time to mull it over? Sure. At the air doll XOXO? No. Sorry to disappoint. That is the question. But yeah, your test is over. Now the question is, do I want to work with you?
She puts away her phone, the first time since you've met her, and gives you a good, hard look.
At the Vicky head Vevo. Guess I can imagine it is a shot. Yeah. You're not that dumb. You're not that boring. And you're kind of, cute. At Eardoll XOXO. Don't worry. No more, mobbing jobs. Mods get attached. And that's always bad news.
She grabs your arm and starts leading you out of her room.
At G's piece ass? I've put you through enough shit. Next time, I'll let you in on a little job I'm doing. We'll hit the streets, and you'll see why Sophie told you to contact me.
She leads you through a labyrinth of gray corridors. Different route than the one you made your way through in.
An unconscious diagram psych achievement? This city is so much more than what its elites consider real. Stick with me, and I'll guide you to places Camarilla elders couldn't reach in 100 years.
She leads you out of the building, into the back alleys.
It's shit trailer voice. Even someone else rules the streets. And we will rule the information highways. This is the power of hope.
She lets out a theatrical laugh and disappears. You don't even notice when she leaves you alone. You assume everything went as well as it could. New ally. Power of hope. As you walk off into the night, everything around you feels a little less tangible than it did a few hours ago.